Okay, so we're back. The pasta's cooking, the sauce is cooking, and I'm just going to prepare or get the garlic / French bread prepared. So this is just a French loaf. I'm just going to take it and doctor it up. Cut it in half. And yes, I'm making a mess on the counter, but that's okay, because I'll clean it up. So cut it in half that way, and then I'll cut it in half lengthwise too. Careful not to cut the counter. Cool, perfect. Okay, so that's good and that's done. I'm going to save a piece of these just to have just some pure bread. So I'll save this one maybe, this up here for now. So there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and get the toaster oven warmed up. 350 should be good. And I've got this butter dish from earlier, so what's in here is butter, garlic, salt, basil, oregano, and rosemary. Whatever your preferences are there as far as quantities, you can change what the herbs are also, or you can leave the herbs out. So I've nuked it for about 30 seconds in the microwave. This is salted butter. And I'm just going to whisk that up a little bit. So again, just a little salt, some butter. That's really all you need, and some garlic. But again, I've added some basil in there, and rosemary and oregano, just to give it a little extra flavors. So while that's sitting there, I'm going to let that cool a little bit. We're going to take the spaghetti sauce, the pasta, and it's ready to come out. Let's move this out of the way. I'm just going to pour that right in there. Careful with the steam. And I always pour the water in there first and let it drain. Go, go, go. I just don't like the idea that my pasta is directly in contact with water. That's directly in contact with the sewer system. So that's why I do it that way. Stragglers in there. That's good. Okay, so that'll drain, and in a few minutes I'll put a little butter on that so it doesn't stick. That can stay there. So back to the pasta. I'm going to make this simple this time, and I'm just going to use a scoop, and we're just going to scoop some of this onto the bread. If there's enough, I might use that last piece anyway. Oh yeah, that looks good. And slightly pressing it into the bread also, so it soaks it up and gets it nice and moist. But yeah, it said moist. Go on there. And I don't think there's enough for a third piece, so I might just add some to the other pieces. Again, just mixing up the mixture there and scooping it in, and dabbing it on. There, a little dry there and there. Just making sure it's covered everywhere. I mean, the bread is just soaking up that whole butter mixture, the garlic and everything. That's going to be so delicious. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the toaster oven. Now, because it's a toaster oven, the times can be reduced a little bit, and it's in convection mode, so that speeds things up. So I'm going to have to monitor that pretty closely. So don't just set it, walk away and come back. You want to set it and check on it every few minutes to make sure you don't overcook the bread. Okay, so let's give that an initial time of 5 minutes. Let's take a look at the sauce. So the sauce has been sitting here simmering, and wow, that is, I can't even tell you how delicious this smells right now. It's just so like aromatic. And I made a mess. Okay, so we're going to reduce the heat on this. Just let it simmer at like a medium low. Your stove may vary, mine that's about 1.5. And yeah, so we'll come back in about 5-10 minutes and we should have some delicious spaghetti dinner. Wait, one more thing. So with that other piece of bread, I've got some little garlic oil samplers. Step back, please. Let's pull these out of the cabinet, so I want to give them a good rinse. So what this is for is I'll put some oil in these little dishes, and there are different herbs. Let me just grab this towel. And so that's for dipping the bread, so lovely. To get water, careful with the knife. And so here we've got these three. Bring it over here. Just some oil in each one. Now we're going to add different flavors. I'm a fan of rosemary, so this is Rosemary Maria. Sprinkle some of that on there. We've got some Sicilian blend. I have no idea the quantities I'm supposed to use. I'm just going to dump some in there. And we'll do Tuscany blend also. Since none is coming out, we're going to use Parmesan blend instead. And so that'll sit there for a few minutes, and the oil will absorb the flavor of the herbs that I just put in there. And I'm going to mix that a little bit there. So just with a little spoon, just mix it up a little. I mean, this is going to cross the flavors a little bit, but it's not like we're at a fancy restaurant. Alright, and so with that, I will take this piece of bread here. And just cut this into a couple pieces. Yep. And I've got another loaf that I'll cut up and add, but this is a nice little addition to the spaghetti dinner. And yeah, so any questions about how I've made any of this, any recommendations or changes? Again, this is like the speedy way. There are better techniques to use, especially for the sauce. You could use fresh tomatoes instead of jarred sauce. I'm just going to mix the sauce again while we're talking about it. You can use fresh tomatoes instead of jarred sauce, fresh garlic instead of the minced garlic, fresh basil instead of the basil paste, and all the other herbs as well. Again, this could have used another onion instead of just the one, but still it's going to be delicious. And that's it. So thanks everyone for watching, and let me know your comments.